There's a certain kind of quiet that comes after a person leaves. It isn't an absence of sound. It's a presence of its own. For 26 days, the quiet in my apartment has felt like the shape of him, a space he used to fill. I learned to fill the space during the day. I'd play music, listen to long podcasts about things I didn't care about, anything to have a voice in the room that wasn't a memory. But the nights are different. The nights are when the quiet settles down on my chest and waits, and I have a routine. I don't like to call it that, but it is. It starts around 1 a.m., when sleep feels like a place I can't get to anymore. My phone finds its way into my hand. I tell myself I'm just checking the time, a small lie that helps me get through the next minute. But my thumb knows where to go. Not his social media. I learned that lesson early. It goes to our old shared calendar. We used it for practical things, a little map of our shared life. He never took me off it. So now it's a window into his new one. It's a quiet way to hurt myself. Monday, gym 6 p.m., that's normal. Wednesday, dentist? Fine. But then I saw a new entry for this coming Saturday. Dinner, 8 p.m., the Perch. Our place. The one we saved for special nights. My whole body went still. I tapped on it. In the notes, a single name. Sarah. The name didn't explode in my mind. It just landed heavy and real. And my brain, a little too good at this, started to build her. She probably has a warm smile and laughs at all his jokes. She probably enjoys that sci-fi show he loved so much. I could see them at our table, the one near the window. I could see him smile, and it felt like watching a movie of my own life with someone else cast in my part. It's a strange thing, the stories we tell ourselves when we're hurting. Tonight, the story felt too real. The quiet was too loud. I did the one thing I promised myself I wouldn't. I opened our text messages, that long history of our life together. I scrolled past the last few messages, the cold, practical ones about the Wi-Fi password. I kept scrolling back, past weeks, then months, back to when the words felt warm. I found a screenshot he'd sent me once of some silly tweet. Under it, he had written, "This made me think of us and our dumb forever plan." A sound came out of me that I didn't recognize, something raw and tired, and that's where I lost my footing. My heart started beating in a fast, unsteady way, like a bird trapped in a room. A small, quiet part of my mind knew it was a mistake, knew that some things are meant to be left alone. But the loneliness was a physical weight, and I thought maybe, just maybe, this would make a sound loud enough to shift it. My fingers were shaking. Is the forever plan still dumb? The words looked so small on the screen, so fragile. I hesitated for a long moment, my thumb hovering over the send button. Then I took a shallow breath and pressed it. The little blue bubble appeared. The word delivered. The shame that followed wasn't hot and loud, but cold and sinking. I had taken something that was ours, something good, and tried to use it to get his attention. The quiet in the room changed then. It felt heavy, expectant. I imagined his phone lighting up, him seeing my name, reading my words. I watched my screen, waiting for the little dots that mean someone is typing, but they never came. My message just sat there. The screen went dark, and for a second I saw my own reflection. A pale, tired-looking stranger. I wanted to break the phone, to make some kind of noise, but I didn't have the energy. I got out of bed. The floor was cold. I started to walk from the window to the door, back and forth. Past the orchid he gave me that was slowly dying. Past the stack of his books I hadn't moved from the nightstand. I walked until the black outside started to turn a soft, bruised gray. I think this was the bottom. This quiet, empty 4 a.m. feeling. The next day, I was just drifting online, scrolling through a forum for people who collect fountain pens. I don't own one. I think I was just looking for a corner of the world that felt calm and small. Buried in a conversation about different kinds of ink, someone had left a comment. Probably the wrong place for this, it said. But if you're feeling unsteady, a friend sent me this. He called it the 7-day human reset, a list of small physical tasks. It doesn't fix the big things, but it reminds you that you have a body and that body is on your side. Maybe it can help someone else. Then there was a list. It was so simple. The severance? Log out of every shared account. Netflix, Prime, everything. Then block their number. The physical purge. Clean one surface you've been avoiding. The stovetop. The shower floor. The unplugged hour. Go outside. Sit on a public bench for 1 hour with no phone, no book, no headphones. Just be. 4. The nourishment. Make yourself a smoothie with at least one green thing in it. The cognitive shuffle. When the obsessive thoughts start, name things you can see that start with the letter B. Then C. Interrupt the pattern. The bedtime story. Find a boring podcast about history or nature and listen to it as you fall asleep. The first question, the moment you wake up, ask yourself, what does my body need right now? Reminds you that you have a body. I had been living like a ghost in my own apartment. I figured I had nothing left to lose. Day 1, the severance. This was hard. Clicking sign out on Netflix felt strangely formal, like signing a document. Blocking his number was the last step. My finger hovered over the button. I thought of my text message sitting there unanswered, and the quiet shame gave me a little push. I tapped it. There was a moment of panic and then a clean silence. My phone felt like it was just mine again. Day 2, the physical purge. The stovetop was a map of forgotten meals. For 20 minutes, I just focused on the smell of the cleaner and the feeling of the sponge in my hand. When I finished, it was shiny. It wasn't a big deal, but it was something I had done. One small corner of my world was clean. Day 3, the unplugged hour. I walked to the park and sat on a bench. For the first 10 minutes, my hands felt empty and my mind was racing. But I stayed, and slowly the world started to come into focus. The sound of a skateboard on the path, the feeling of the sun on my arms, the smell of damp earth from the flower beds. I had been so lost in my own head, I'd forgotten there was an entire world out here. The next few days were made up of these small, quiet actions. I drank a green smoothie. When my thoughts started to drift back to him and Sarah, I'd stop myself. Bookcase, blanket, bowl. It was a silly game, but it worked. It was an interruption. I fell asleep listening to a podcast about the history of salt, and I slept through the night for the first time in weeks. This morning was day 7. I woke up, and that familiar heavy feeling started to settle in my chest. But I remembered the instruction. What does my body need right now? The answer came right away. Water. My first thought of the day wasn't about him. It was about being thirsty. A little while ago, I was making coffee and I saw my reflection in the dark glass of the kitchen window. I didn't look away this time. The shadows under my eyes are still there. But the tense, lost look I saw on my phone screen is gone. My face just looks softer. I don't look happy or even fully okay. I just look like someone who is very, very tired, but who might be on her way to getting some rest. I'm not fixed. I don't think healing works like that. But that list from a stranger was the first thing that felt like an anchor. It doesn't make the hurt go away, but it gives you something to do with your hands other than reach for the past. It gives you a place to start. It's a first step onto solid ground,